Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. Well, Russia's latest wave of deadly missile strikes killed or injured dozens of people in Ukraine today. It's estimated that about 50 missiles were launched in airstrikes that supposedly targeted critical infrastructure, putting civilians directly in the crossfire. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest.
Sirens wailed across much of Ukraine Saturday. But this time in Kyiv, the warning signal sounded after the explosion started. For many in downtown, there was still enough time to take shelter in subway stations. But just outside of the capital, the blasts that created giant craters and damaged homes took residents by surprise. We were sleeping, this witness says. There was no alarm. We didn't expect it. But Kyiv wasn't Russia's only target. In the southeastern city of Dnipro, a 9-story apartment complex took a direct hit. The impact so strong, part of the building came crumbling down, trapping some residents under the rubble. I am speechless, this neighbor says. The difficult rescue efforts started within minutes of the collapse. At least 5 residents were killed and at least 60 others, including children, were injured.
Russia is a terrorist state, and they feel themselves that they will not bear the responsibility. They feel themselves unstoppable.
In light of the attacks, Ukraine's president called on Western allies to send more weapons. Can Russian terror be stopped? Yes, President Zelensky said. What is needed for this? Those weapons in the warehouses of our partners that our troops are waiting for. Today, Britain announced it intends to send 2 battle tanks to Ukraine, a move that Russia has condemned, saying it will escalate the conflict. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Over a dozen residents came out to Mary J.L. Black Library this afternoon to voice their opinions about the city's 2023 budget and the proposed 6.2 tax increase. Many of the attendees said they wanted to see change with the new council.
I'm sure looking forward to seeing Mr. Johnson and you and the mayor stepping forward with ideas saying, no, this is not sustainable, we have to do something different. I want to hear your proposals and I'm fully expecting them.
So what I'm asking every person in this room is give us some leniency as we learn over these 4 years. Will you see change in 4 years? I will guarantee that. But this budget, this in particular budget, you need to give some of us newbies some time to figure it all out.
Mayor Ken Boshkoff, as well as city councilors Casey Atrini and Greg Johnson, went to the meeting to listen to the taxpayers' concerns and answer any questions they had. Organizer Raymond Smith says he hopes councilors Johnson, Atrini, and Mayor Boshkoff take away from the meeting the realization that the increase is unsustainable.
Council can't be caving in to every request for every new proposal from various groups, and everything can't be done all in 1 year. As I said, if they're going to tear down Victoriaville Mall and revitalize the South Ward, forget about reconstructing the North End right now.
People know me, I'm a listener. I try to follow up and try and let people know that their words are important, so I will heed what I hear.
Smith adds they're hosting another open public meeting where anyone can voice their opinion next Saturday at 9:30 a.m. at the Mary J.L. Black Library. The province's Finance Committee traveled to Kenora this week for the first of their pre-budget consultation meetings for 2023. One major theme that emerged was question of one-size-fits-all funding models and the need to consider the unique aspects of the North during the budget process. Lee Noonan was there.
Municipalities, service providers, industry, and citizen groups came out to the meeting, each making their case to the committee to consider their funding priorities in the provincial budget.
We have a smaller tax base. We can afford with local taxes to fix our infrastructure deficit. The numbers do not work.
Red Lake Mayor Fred Moda echoed that sentiment, saying that with a population of just over 4,000, the tax base simply can't support a new arena without provincial help. And while Dryden Mayor Jack Harrison is also concerned about infrastructure, he had a very different ask. Harrison wants the province to cover 35% of the city's policing costs over the next 3 years.
It's taking up about 17.5% of our budget, the policing costs. And what that is it's impacting our ability to repair, maintain our infrastructure, necessary repairs for our sewer and water, say, and other service levels.
Red Lake Margaret Koshner Memorial Hospital officials want to see hospital staffing in the north prioritized before the south, arguing that the distance between hospitals makes the impact of an ER closure in the region more severe. The KDSB's Henry Wall also touched on the question of geography, explaining that the vastness of the region has a big impact on the per capita cost of operations.
We need to have at least nine different offices so that we can actually help people. It would be unrealistic to have an office in Kenora and expect a family from Pickle Lake to drive 7-8 hours to get here.
That things often work differently in the north is something MPP Dave Smith, Parliamentary Assistant for Northern Affairs and Indigenous Affairs, hopes the committee will take away from their time in Kenora. Not one of the committee members is from a northern riding.
Every time we have an opportunity to come up to one of the northern communities, those members who are on the committee who have never been to Northern Ontario get to see firsthand what some of those differences are and why we have to treat Northern Ontario differently than we do Southern Ontario.
This was the only pre-budget consultation meeting planned in the region. Another that had been scheduled in Red Lake was canceled when there weren't enough speakers registered, but registration is still open in a number of other locations throughout the province for anyone who'd like to speak, either by traveling there personally or virtually. Registration information is available at ola.org. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay Art Gallery is welcoming 3 new exhibits for the winter months. Yesterday on the News Hour, we featured the Now Now juried exhibition, and today we take a look at the artworks of Jason Berg. Riley McManus spoke to him about his creations, and she files this report.
A path or gap among the trees is accumulation of pieces from Berg's first 25 years of creating art. Included among the many dynamic pieces is an interactive generative media projection, a laser-cut painting installation, and many colorful and in-depth paintings. Berg is a Cree Métis visual artist who is marching towards unique ways to utilize different techniques and finds art to be healing. Berg's traditional territory is from Treaty 6 in Saskatchewan and currently is a faculty member at OCAD University. Berg credits many people in his life who encouraged him to follow his passion, but one stuck out.
One of the people that really impacted my career, Norval Morisseau impacted many people's careers. I had the good honor to take him to his last exhibition in New York before he passed away, so my time with him also does impact my work. So I think this land tells its story through its languages and its people, and I think we have so much to gain from our fellow Indigenous community members.
Berg explains that life inspires his work. He draws his creativity from what's around him. He uses a sense of exploration as an expression that flows into a narrative, which he says for him in these pieces was color. And he also explains how the title of his exhibition came to be.
The title of the show is Tawasquia, a path or gap among the trees. And so it makes me think of where I grew up back home on the North Saskatchewan River, where I played with all my cousins and my siblings. Really, it's kind of a tribute to the land and place.
Berg's exhibition will be on display at the Thunder Bay Art Gallery until March 19th. Riley McManus, TBT News.
The Hydrant Hero campaign kicked off in Sault Ste. Marie this week, which sees the fire department and the PUC enlist members of the community to help keep fire hydrants clear and free from snow obstructions. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has the details.
Kids at St. Mary's Catholic School now know the importance that picking up a shovel can have on fire safety. Members of Sioux Fire and PUC Services spoke to this group of grade 3 students on how to become hydrant heroes by shoveling around their neighborhood fire hydrants.
It's the same thing when we do fire safety, right? When we start with kids in grade 1 and go all the way up to grade 8 in high school and The idea is that, kids bring the message home.
Yeah, kids are actually really excited about programs like this because they're out there, they're being active, they're shoveling the snow, they can see the difference that they're making, and they get really excited about it.
The campaign comes with prizes, but the little ones have purer intentions about why they're pledging to be hydrant heroes.
I want to be one because I want to help the city.
Clearing fire hydrants is the responsibility of the PUC. However, it feels there are times when a helping hand is welcomed.
Our water distribution team at PUC regularly removes snow from fire hydrants throughout the winter, so it's something that we regularly do, not just when there is a large snowfall, but when there is a large snowfall, it is more difficult to get to each one of those, and so this is why this program is so important for the safety of our community.
With 2,500 fire hydrants in the city, PUC crews may not have them all clear when there's an emergency. Sioux fire officials ask that people shovel 3 feet around hydrants and create a path to them. That will save firefighters valuable time when they need it most.
It could be the difference of us starting to put out a fire or having to wait 5 minutes because we have to dig out the hydrants. So it's very important. Every second counts. The sooner we can get water on the fire to put it out, the better.
To become a hydrant hero, submit photos to either the Sioux Fire or PUC accounts on social media using the hashtag SSM Hydrant Hero. The campaign runs until the end of March. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
We're now joined by sports anchor Kurt Black. We throw to LU basketball as the men's team has had a great season, but last night it was all about the women's team.
Yeah, they were fantastic. It was tough, yes. 0-11 in 2022, probably the happiest people to say it's a new year. And the Ladies Thunderwolves team, well, they got their New Year's resolutions off to a great start last night, getting that first victory of the season. We'll have that story and more after the break.